For many people, property development is a lot more than a straight commercial venture. It's a one-off shot at a whole new existence.
Go Sarah, go Sarah. Aha!
At the end of the day, if this doesn't work, we're in a make or break situation.
But our developers have to spend a lot more than they want to reap the rewards. So this is it. This is the selling feature of the house.
Yes.
One of many.
This is pants. Tonight on Property Ladder, I'm meeting two sets of developers who desperately want to change their lives, and they're convinced they found just the properties to do it. Factory manager Clive Jacobs has been married to his wife Deborah for 5 years, but for all of that time they've been lodging with a relative. They're now at crisis point, but are hoping that this ex-council house in Aldershot will finally finance a place of their own.
Clive and I share about a 10 by 12 room, and that's where we spend most of our days and evenings.
We've never been, as such, a married couple, as normal married couples do. You know, their first home together and first kettle together and stuff like that. But hopefully this will get us onto the road of achieving that.
The difficulty is it is an uninspiring property on a busy road that's totally outdated on the inside. It's not a property I would want to rely on to change my life. "80 miles away in Streatham, South London, dog sitters Jodie Bourne and Matthew Turnbull want a lot more out of life, and they're about to get it. They're taking on this worn-out Edwardian house while living on site and looking after up to 10 animals at a time.
Property developing to us really is to take control of our lives, be our own bosses.
It's a whole lifestyle change. We want to completely change the way that we live our lives right now, which is working really hard, not making very much money, hardly seeing each other. And we just want to get a lump sum, jet off to Australia, spend a lot of time together.
They're hoping this 3-bedroom property is the answer. It needs a major overhaul, but the building is handsomely proportioned and has bags of potential. Matt and Jodie want to unlock it with their own inexperienced hands. So you're kind of keen on DIY, and that's something that you're passionate about.
That's right, yeah, exactly. We got our hands dirty and...
I mean, the only way that we could afford a house is to get one that's really run down, so we've got no choice but to do it ourselves, but we're up and ready for the task, aren't we?
And so, are you aware of kind of how much hard work's likely to be involved in this?
Yes, yes.
Yes, I mean,
but blissfully, I think, unaware in some phases of it. But, I mean, we are certainly not 9-to-5ers. We would absolutely die in office jobs, wouldn't we?
Yeah, that's right. It's a good excuse to get outside of that environment and spend time.
And a great way for me to order him around.
Matt and Jodie have big plans for this large property. At the top of the house, they intend to convert the loft into a master suite. A good move for the family market. Downstairs, there are 3 bedrooms and a bathroom that need a total revamp. On the ground floor, there's a reception room to the front, a kitchen in an unusual location just behind, and a dining room to the rear with a utility lean-to and WC. The plan is to demolish the lean-to and knock through the whole area to create a large family room. But that will leave the kitchen right in the centre of the ground floor. And I personally think that's a problem. I've seen a few houses, Victorian terraces, where they've put the kitchen either in the front room or this middle room, and it just feels a bit wrong because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
If there weren't lots of houses like this, you could put it anywhere you want because no one would expect anything. But people don't expect this to be a kitchen, and I think there is a danger people will walk in and think, oh, this is the wrong way around.
Yes.
We figure we're going to have such an amazing kitchen that they're going to walk in and go, actually, look at this fabulous kitchen.
To get as much as you can when you come to sell this house, really you want to extend out into the side return and take the back room full width across so that you've got a massive, big family kitchen.
To really cash in on this development, I think Matt and Jodie should extend the rear of the property sideways, the perfect space for the ever-popular kitchen diner. In a house this size, families will also want a second living room, and creating one out of the old kitchen would complete the ground floor layout.
These houses, to me, are so fabulous because there are little hidden getaways and little hidden rooms. Do you not think that's going to just destroy the character if it's going to be one big room out the back?
Because lives are more hectic now, people do work long hours, the only time they manage to spend with their family is quality time. And so they kind of want to be all in one room. They want to be able to cook the supper, talk to the kids, one's doing their homework, someone's sitting on the sofa, and you've got your get your friends coming over to talk at the same time, because you haven't got any time, you have to multitask.
I've been living in this house for 3 months and I'm cooking in a lovely kitchen right now. Even though it's not, I can see the dream and I can see it there, and it's going to be very hard to change that.
Changing that dream isn't going to be made any easier by Matt and Jodie's finances. They did buy well at $345,000. But a tiny £40,000 budget is not enough to make the most of the property. Even so, they hope to sell for a healthy $500,000, clearing £115,000 profit.
Realistically, even if you do loads of the work yourself, this development's going to cost you £80,000 with the plans that you've already got. Now, if you do the side extension as well, that's probably going to cost you another 20, so £100,000. But I think it'll be worth £40,000 more than it would be with the plans that you originally had.
Right, 100 budget kind of makes me feel like I'm choking, really. All my clothes feel a little bit tighter. That's, yeah, complete shock.
And I think that's a bit unrealistic as well, trying to find another 60,000 on top of our 40,000.
You're better off thinking about what your options are at this stage and thinking, OK, well, if that's realistically where we are, let's work out a plan.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't come to it, then I will eat my hat.
I'd like to see that, Sarah. I really would. A nice big straw hat.
Fine, that's a deal.
In Aldershot, Clive and Deborah Jacobs are pinning their dreams on a rather less appealing property. What's more, it's semi-derelict and has a seriously outdated layout.
Now, you've got quite a challenge on your hands with this. Looking at the road...
Absolutely.
And what's around it. This road is very busy, and let's be honest, it's not a very exciting looking house. I mean, it's sweet, but...
Not yet,
you
not
know.
yet, but hopefully we can do it up enough to make it look appealing to everyone. I think it's going to turn out all right.
I think it could be a real struggle. They bought the house for $175,000. Have just $20,000 to do it up and need to break the ceiling price on the road to make their £220,000 sale price. Even so, they stand to make only £25,000 profit.
And it is a huge challenge making this into a really nice house for such a small amount of money. You're going to have to be very, very clever with what you do. And I think possibly in some areas you might have to accept that you're going to have to spend a little bit more money to make it really amazing. How much have you managed to save over the last 5 years?
Pretty much our entire budget, the 20,000.
You know, we're lagging behind in the property ladder, and we just see this developing as a way of getting on and getting a bit further up a bit quicker.
So if I've got this right, you're relying on this house to be the dream ticket to change your life then?
We have to make this work. It has to work for our marriage.
Clive and Deborah Jacobs are hoping their Aldershot development will be the start of a whole new life together. That won't be easy because this property will be extremely difficult to make appealing.
God, this is awful. very awkward, isn't it? So
Quite.
Compact.
Yes.
there's a kitchen here and bathroom here. God, I have to mind that. What a very complicated little kind of layout. This is very awkward.
Clive and Deborah will have to work very hard on this layout to make any kind of profit. Upstairs, there are 3 double bedrooms. They're adding an upstairs bathroom, which is essential in a modern home. Downstairs, there's a lounge, a small second reception, kitchen and bathroom. They want to steal space from both the reception and the bathroom to create an awkwardly shaped kitchen diner. But it's a plan which fails to take advantage of the property's one big selling point, a large rear garden.
So what I'm suggesting is you take this wall out and then this wall out to the bathroom so that you have this open plan area, which would be your kitchen, breakfast, dining room, which would be a fantastic room, and then have doors here, fully glazed doors, overlooking the garden, so all the light can come in, because it's so dark at the moment in there.
I'm not wholly convinced that going down that line and doing that much is going to achieve fully the means to the end.
But I think it's their only chance of making a halfway decent profit. By demolishing the whole bathroom and squaring off the back of the house, they'll end up with an impressive kitchen living area flowing straight into the garden.
My idea to begin with was to open that up, but then I wasn't sure if it was large enough. And we've been kind of going back and forth since then, but yes, I
think we've got technical issues there, we've got financial issues there.
Let's be honest, the plans that you've got at the moment are hardly spectacular. I think you have to spend a little bit more money to stand a chance of making a profit. This is a very difficult development. There's an awful lot on the line here. If you get this right, you've got a lot to gain from it.
In Streatham, it's the first week of Matt and Jodie's 6-month development. Work on the loft conversion is underway. It's the one job they're leaving to the professionals. And it's costing a lot more than they bargained for. In fact, their entire £40,000 building budget is already history.
The budget is out the window, flying away as we speak.
Yes,
So,
pretty much. So,
honey, not pretty much. It's gone. If you're saying it's 42,
yeah,
the budget's 40. It's gone.
the budget
So
is
can I
fine.
just grieve? Budget has gone. Let me just grieve and sink all this in. Fine.
It's crucial to set out with a realistic budget, however daunting that may be. Matt and Jodie's was way off from the start. They set aside just £23,500 for all labour and materials. A minuscule £7,000 for the kitchen and bathrooms, and £3,500 for plumbing and electrics. With £6,000 for decoration and dressing, the total is £40,000. That has already gone.
So, whose doorstep are you going to be banging down to get the extra money?
And my mum might lend us the money if I ask sweetly.
Matt and Jodie are lucky to have a second chance at getting the budget right. I think they should now price up to move the kitchen into the back room and extend sideways to create more space. Matt and Jodie agree the kitchen should go at the back of the property, but they don't want to extend it into the side return. Instead, they think this side area would be better used as an al fresco dining space.
So this is it. This is the selling feature of the house.
Yes.
One of many.
This is pants.
Vision, Sarah. I thought you had vision. We're going to revamp these doors, have our eco deck swinging. Am I selling it to you?
How much is all this going to cost?
Well,
Quite a lot, though.
yes, it's coming up close to 15,000.
If you're going to spend nearly 15 grand,
Yeah.
basically making it the same as it is now,
Yes.
you might as well spend 25 and actually add square footage, which will actually add value to the house. Trust me.
I do trust you, Sarah, but frankly, I don't even know what my own name is right now. It's just so much to take in. I was happy with my alfresco outdoor living, and now I don't know what I'm doing.
2 days later, Jodie and Matt have regrouped and come to a decision.
We decided we're not going to go with this side return. I know Sarah...
She put a good fight in, didn't she?
Exactly. She fought her corner very well, very persuasively, but is almost doubling our budget.
And frankly, I'm the one that worries about money, and I will not sleep for the next 6 months if we do the side return.
In Aldershot, Clive and Deborah's development is kicking off.
Deborah! You need to stop doing the easy stuff. Come and give me a hand clearing up here.
Outside, friends and family have been roped in to clear the sizable outside space.
1, 2, 3.
It's the property's biggest asset. I think Clive and Deborah should make the most of it by opening up the kitchen and installing large double doors at the back of the house.
At the end of the day, what Sarah is saying does make sense. Perhaps we should just spend that little bit more and, yeah, to hell with it, go for it.
A week later, the downstairs bathroom is being ripped out to make way for the new kitchen. The dividing walls come down, and it's a first chance to see if it feels like the right choice for the development.
Oh my goodness. I am very impressed.
Do you like it?
I'm stunned. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to admit Sarah was right.
But the good feeling doesn't last long.
OK, so what you're saying...
Building control are insisting that a WC is reinstated somewhere on the ground floor for accessibility. Reluctantly, Clive and Deborah have decided to divide up the front reception and put it there. But it's really ruining the layout.
I'm just not happy with the loo here. There has to be some type of alternative.
If you wanted to move this whole wall around sideways to over here, but then that becomes, it's a room in a room.
In my experience, this is a very unusual way for the council to interpret a building regulation. So I think in this very rare instance, it's worth approaching the council again.
Now that you have carved up one of your reception rooms to put a downstairs loo in, the layout is seriously compromised with your house. And I think it's a very unusual interpretation of the building regulation to say that you have to have a downstairs loo. And at this stage, I think it's worth you fighting it.
Absolutely, because it just doesn't make any sense to have a bathroom in the middle of your living room.
I'll help you clearly spell out the case. You put some plans together and let's go back and talk to the council.
In Streatham, Matt and Jodie's development has been going on for 2 months. Work on the loft conversion is progressing well. But that's more than can be said for the rest of the development. Matt and Jodie haven't even started ripping out the bathrooms. And there's a reason why.
We're just not morning people. We tend to work a bit later, probably in the afternoon.
No, we don't. Don't try and make an excuse.
Well,
We work later in the afternoon. Basically, we should be doing 8 till 5. But because we're living here, we're just taking it a little bit easier. Put it this way, we'd be both fired if we were working for somebody else.
Matt and Jodie are scraping by as part-time dog sitters. But if they don't get up out of bed, unmodernise is exactly how this house will stay.
It's 5 to 8, and I know that Matthew and Jodie are really struggling to get up in the morning. This is half a day into a good day's work for normal builders, but I think they're still in bed. So I've got a bit of help to get up. They're fast asleep. Morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Hello. Oh, no. What are you doing? It's the middle of the day. You're in bed. Here you are.
Thank you.
You are far too bright and perky for this time in the morning.
It's time to take this development by the scruff of the neck.
So it's 8 weeks since I was last here, and you have taken the ceiling down and taken the wallpaper off. So why is the bathroom not ripped out upstairs?
It's next to the bedrooms upstairs, and so you
This
use
is what I
it's,
get
it's
all
the
day
bathroom
long.
you use.
Most developments won't get off the ground until the entire property is stripped out.
Go Sarah, go Sarah. Okay, watch and learn, babe.
If you're living on site, it's especially important to let go of the creature comforts and get on with the build.
Aha! It's great to be working again. I've been trying to get this bathroom out for 4 weeks now.
Do you know which the next job is that you're going to do on the house? Have you got any idea?
We thought probably it'd be the electrics.
Yeah, it definitely has to be the electrics.
You need to get the reel of cable and
Yep.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Simple as that. Not rocket science.
No.
No.
But you do have to actually do it.
In Aldershot, building control are insisting on a downstairs WC, which is effectively ruining the ground floor layout. Clive and Deborah are questioning the decision. Building control have gone back and considered the issue, and today's meeting will decide the fate of the development.
Well, thank you very much for seeing us.
Oh, that's my pleasure.
My feeling is that the law is a bit ambiguous here, and actually it will detrimentally affect the house in terms of layout to fit a downstairs loo in.
We have re-looked at the regulations, and we have to looked at the back-end regulations that go with them and the guidance that went along with it. And we feel there's some ambiguity in how the regulations are enforced to such an extent that we feel they're unsafe to enforce.
So that means they don't have to have a downstairs loo now?
If they want to take the one out they've put in, they can take it out, yes.
Ah, that is wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. That was good. So that means that ridiculous loo can go.
Yes.
I'm going to take it down. It's my go.
All right, come on.
When dealing with building control, it's important to take a thoroughly professional approach. Properly drawn up plans and a well-researched, clearly written case will help everyone reach a good solution.
Magnificent! I'm so excited!
That is better.
In Streatham, the build is now 5 months in. It's meant to be finished in just 4 weeks, and there's still masses to do. But at least Matt and Jodie are out of bed.
No, really, I'm laying the earthing cable. I don't know why, Miff just told me to do it. The electrician's told him. I'm like the last one down the line. But it's horrible work and those dogs keep putting dust on my face.
Jodie spent a whole week laying cables in filthy conditions, surrounded by interfering hounds. And that you have to admire. But the truth is, these two are still light years away from getting on top of this development.
We just found out that the cable that we've put in the ceiling for the light circuit is...
For the whole light circuit, for the whole house.
Yes, for upstairs and downstairs. It's the wrong type.
It is a stupid mistake to make, and I can't believe that we've done that, and it's just going to take so much time and energy to fix it, and to be honest, I just don't have that energy to want to do it.
In Streatham, Matt and Jodie's dream ticket to Australia is 7 months in. The property should have been finished and on the market 4 weeks ago. With no outside help, the development is crawling along. And it could be about to slow down even more, because Jodie's just hatched a plan to knock through the 2 front receptions and install double doors.
My vision for this room is kind of next door being formal, this one here being kind of funky, chill-out area that we use pretty much all of the time.
No,
So
sure.
nice bifold doors, original, that can go through there. And
Whilst it's a nice idea, at this stage in this development, they just need to get it finished and sold.
It'll be overkill, and it'll just let more noise in. It's, you know, more functional as two separate rooms.
1, 2, 3. Oh! Best of 3. No, come on, best of 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Leaving this decision down to luck is bonkers. There is a dispute, isn't there, about this wall and whether it stays or whether it goes.
Well, not really. I'm going to take it down, whether we flex it or not.
My idea is to keep the wall there and not worry about taking
And you
it
know
down.
why that is? Because you don't like doing any work, okay? And that wall is my baby, and it's coming out.
I'm afraid I'm going to make the decision. I just don't think you've got the time to take this wall down. And I think that considering what else there is to do, I think you should finish everything else first and then move on to the doors if there's time and money left. I mean, how much money have you got left in your budget?
About 3,000.
About?
Very roughly.
You have absolutely no idea. Look at his face. That's lying. That's a lying.
So are you just making that up? Or is that just a... How about 10?
No, we definitely haven't got 10, I know that.
6?
Maybe 5 at a stretch.
I've got no idea at all.
If there is money in the budget, and if by some miraculous miracle there is time, I would like to do those, if I could get the right doors.
If you finish the rest of the house and you've got time left and money left, you'll do the doors, yeah?
Fabulous.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
I'm barely out the door and the wall comes down. This development is officially out of control. Back on planet Earth in Aldershot, Clive and Deborah have now been working hard for 3.5 months. Things here too aren't going according to plan.
We desperately need this project to work so that we can have our own place and just be a normal couple. And the budget, well, that's gone.
I mean, it's looking increasingly more like we're going to have to dip into the holiday funds to carry on just through with the project. But that's needs must.
No, okay, fine. Would your delivery drivers help us with that, or?
Clive and Deborah now need to get the best possible finish at the lowest possible price. To show them what they have to compete with, we're going to a development just down the road in Farncombe that's about to hit the market.
Now, this has been newly developed and it's fully refurbished. I mean, it's aspirational living, this. It's a lovely finish. How much do you think it cost them to get to this point with it?
I would say they've probably spent in the region of 30,000.
That's probably what I would have thought as well.
I'm glad you've come in at that level because actually it's cost a lot less than you think. And this finish here was done for £12,000, not £30,000.
Wow.
No. Oh dear.
Oh no.
What have you been spending our money on? You've been shopping, haven't you?
I think there's some golden rules that you need to remember if you're trying to achieve a good finish on not very much money. One is never underestimate how important it is to execute your work well. Everything in this house, if you look around, there's no wonky light switches and unfilled doors, and the execution of whatever work you do is just as important as the materials you actually use.
Yeah.
Choose the materials cleverly as well, and it's a winning combination. Woodblock worktop is half the price of solid wood, but it's just as appealing. Engineered wood floor is in a different league to laminate, but at around £30 per square metre, it won't break the bank. Bold tiles can be bought at rock-bottom prices, but can really lift a property. One area not to cut back on is taps. Cheap will show.
Part of the reason you did this development is because you wanted to have a new life together, own your own home together. Do you still believe it's achievable?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
We have to.
Yeah, we have. That's
Definitely.
right, we have to. Yeah.
Still see it as a light at the end of the tunnel?
The goal is still there.
It's a flashlight, but it's still there. We can both still see it. I mean, we have to, yeah.
In Streatham, the development has now been going on for 11 whole months. I never thought I'd get to say it, but Matt and Jodie are inching their way towards the end of the project.
I think that's an easier job. You look like you've done that before.
But there is still a major hurdle to overcome, and that's because for the last year, Matt and Jodie have been earning a living by dog sitting.
Now, there is one thing that I just kind of wanted to slightly touch on, and that is that you've got a lot of very lovely dogs, which is
We
great.
do, don't we?
I had noticed, actually. Whilst your dogs are really fabulous, this many dogs do mean that it does smell a bit of dog in the house.
What? I don't smell it. I don't smell anything.
You don't think there's a smell of dog, really?
No. I'm sure if you got down and smelled our couches that we've let go because, you know, the house is crazy, then fine. But no, I don't smell anything in the air.
To help Jodie wake up and smell the doggies, I'm calling in some of the neighbours.
In your opinion, what does this house smell of?
Really, a little bit of dog.
Can you smell much of a dog when you come in?
On what scale?
Scale of 1 to 10, where
I'd
would you
say
put it?
a good 9.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
If you were looking for a house, would it put you off buying it?
Yeah, it would. It would probably.
Oh, no!
If Matt and Jodie are determined to keep the dogs, they'll have to take some serious measures.
Now, plants are a really good way to freshen the air, and some are better than others. So palm trees and spider plants and ferns are 3 of the really good ones.
That's
freshen the
nice,
air
isn't
up.
it?
That's great.
And I've got some lavender oil. Now, it's a natural antibacterial. You put the lavender oil onto the cotton wool balls and you stick those into the hoover bag. When you're doing the last minute hoovering before someone looks around, kind of wafts the lavender into the air,
Cool.
which is a good tip. So that's those.
Great.
And lastly, but not leastly, I've got you a bucket and a scrubbing brush, because there's nothing like elbow grease.
Some people have such an aversion to dogs, it's worth limiting them to one room or taking them out of the house when viewings are happening. Matt and Jodie will have their work cut out to give this property a clean and fragrant interior. In Aldershot, 4 months after they started, and with a little help from everyone, Clive and Deborah's ex-council house is about to go on the open market. And it's really looking pretty good, with neat contemporary styling that has brought the property right up to date. The kitchen has been transformed into a large, flexible family area. And the garden it now looks over has cleaned up into a great outside space.
There's a big room in here now, isn't it? By opening up the kitchen here and opening up the garden, you've made it feel so much bigger, which is really successful. I think the layout works incredibly well. Are you pleased with it?
Yeah,
Very.
definitely.
Very, yeah.
Lovely outcome of being able to now have the space as a kitchen diner.
Over here you had the original bathroom. That was a bit of a nightmare, the whole issue of that, wasn't it?
It's the bane of our lives for the last few months. The decisions on where it went, whether it was in, whether it was out. But it's all come good in the end.
And this is a big room. If you'd had the loo in here, it would have been a completely kind of nonsense room, really, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, you know, I think that the end result means that you've got a room where you could either have this as another reception room, a playroom, a 4th bedroom. It's a pretty good joint effort, I think.
Yes.
I think we did well
It was
here.
quite a triumph.
Upstairs, putting in a bathroom next to the bedrooms has made the property a viable modern home. And from the quality taps to the engineered wood floor, the finish throughout is impressive. I just hope it hasn't done too much damage to the budget.
Now, You bought the house for 175,000, didn't you? And you were planning on spending 20,000. So how much did you end up spending?
32,000.
I think that 32,000 is not a lot of money to be spending on this house. So I think you've pulled it off. It looks great, the house. You were originally hoping to get £220,000 as a resale. What do you reckon that you might be able to get it for it now?
Being realistic, I just think that's probably what it's going to be, in the 220,000 area.
200, or maybe high 220s, I think.
Clive and Deborah set out to make a £25,000 profit. Now that would mean selling for £232,000. Will the agents be prepared to go that high?
Wow, really nice, bright and airy. Really, really nice. From a point of view of a first-time buyer or an investment buyer, it's actually ready-made and it's good to go. Wow, what a superb garden. That's going to be a really good selling point of this property. That's what everyone wants, is an upstairs bathroom. This is a really good sized study. Lend itself ideally as a study or as a den, somewhere where the teenagers can get away from the parents. I'd value this property at £220,000. I would value this property at £220,000.
We have had 2 agents round to value it, and they both came in at 220,000.
Okay.
I mean, although it's valued at 220, I think that you might stand a chance of getting the 227 you need to make a £20,000 profit, because this house is as good as it possibly could be.
I will put it on the market for 230 and see what we get from there. I think it's not unrealistic, like you just said. You know, at least then we could come out with somewhere in between the two.
The reality is Clive and Deborah really haven't done too badly for a potentially disastrous development. They bought the property for £175,000, spent £32,000 on the project, and if they sell for the agent's valuations of £220,000, they'll clear a £13,000 profit. Although I think they may get a bit more.
Is the dream of owning your own home still there?
It's a start. It's getting there.
No.
We'll just carry on going until we do get to the end product that we both want.
Knowing what you know now, would you buy this development again?
This development?
The same one?
No way. No way.
But it's not all bad news. Within a week, Clive and Deborah accept an offer for £225,000, which would clear them an £18,000 profit. The dream of their own home together is not quite as far off as they thought. Back in Streatham, Matt and Jodie are putting in a final push to get the property finished.
I just think to myself, this is the last time I have to do this coat of paint on this bit of wall.
And now they're about to get the surprise of their lives.
Are you joking? Why did we even bother working on it? I could have had an easy life.
In Streatham, the schedule has doubled to a massive 12 months. But Matt and Jodie assure me their development is finally finished. And the end result is really quite a surprise. What was once a rundown property full of chaos and canines is now a stylishly presented family home. The knocked-through front receptions may have been an impulsive afterthought, but having 2 separate areas that can be opened into one will give a family the best of both worlds. Next door, the kitchen could be more spacious, but a combination of sleek units and exposed brickwork give it a definite urban charm.
Wow, what an achievement! This is great. I can't believe you actually pulled this off, especially with a zillion dogs around.
We'll take all the credit, won't we? Because it was so hard.
But I have to say, I'm also really impressed, because when I came before, it really was very doggy in here.
Yeah.
And that has gone.
Yeah.
It's not
I told
doggy
you,
anymore.
didn't I?
You did, you did. Although you have finished the house, you haven't quite finished, because that garden let's be honest, it is an absolute bum site, isn't it?
Yes, needs a few tweaks,
A
but
weekend, some pebbles, some raised garden beds, it's fine.
Do you now look at the side return, and is there a little bit of you who thinks actually it would be really nice to have a bigger room in here?
I mean, this kitchen's magic. It's magic.
Great. I agree. It's a great kitchen. It's a lovely room. I still think that fundamentally there's going to be quite a lot of people who will think, well, one day I'll knock through into the side return.
Well, frankly, let them do it. We'll buy them the sledgehammer and put a ribbon on it and they can go, because we've seen enough building work in this house, haven't we?
yeah.
Upstairs, the smooth city styling continues into the loft conversion, set off by a palette of soft browns. While next door, Matt and Jodie have installed the slickest of designer bathrooms. It's a master suite that will draw in the crowds.
And this is so successful up here, but it has come at a cost, hasn't it? I mean, your original budget was 40,000, and the loft itself has cost pretty much that.
Yes.
37. We've all been eating rice for 8 months.
How much did you end up spending?
I don't know. I don't.
I think it was about 65 to 70,000.
No, it wasn't. All in, it was £95,000. So, a lot more than 40.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. To be honest, I didn't really consider or add in the fees and extras in our original budget.
Like materials or...
or the plumbing or the boiler or any of those silly things like that.
Just the little details.
Those little details can add up to one whole lot of money. Labour and materials shot up from £23,500 to £44,500. The kitchen and bathrooms rose from £7,000 to £13,000. But they didn't do badly with plumbing and electrics that increased by just £500. Decorating actually went down from £6,000 to £4,000, with fees and mortgage payments at £29,500. The total rose from £40,000 to £95,000. Although that's not the only shift to dramatically affect this development.
Do you have any idea what you would have had to pay for it now as an unmodernised house?
We have no idea, really.
If it was still unmodernised, as you bought it, it would now be worth £500,000.
Are you joking? Why did we even bother working on it? I could have had an easy life.
This has gone up by £155,000. So, all done up, how much do you reckon that this house would be worth now?
Well, I would have said 500, but I can't say that now.
Taking into account what Matt and Jodie have spent on the property, they now need to get over £595,000 to make a profit on the work they've done.
It's a nice double reception room. The interconnecting doors give flexible accommodation.
It's nice and open, lots of light. I think what people like about these houses are the big high ceilings. Marks out of 10, probably looking about an 8.
It would have been lovely to see the side return having been done on this property to make it into a really nice wide family kitchen.
I think in terms of selling the property, this could be the X factor that really helps sell it. I would value this property at £615,000.
In the current market, I would value this property at £625,000.
I would value this property at £630,000.
Well, we've had 3 estate agents around to value it, and they valued it at £615,000, £625,000 and £630,000.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's incredible.
That is incredible. I was thinking if we got 500, it would be nothing short of a miracle. You're going to have so many new outfits, aren't you, darling? Oh my God.
That is amazing because...
That's the best job we've ever had.
That is.
It almost seems worth it.
So if you did sell it, you'd make a profit of between £175,000 and £190,000.
That's brilliant. That's
I
amazing.
feel like I'm just going to die of a heart attack right now.
Of course, it's only money in the bank if someone buys the property.
My first impressions, it's a really lovely space, a really nice room. Love the fact that they've combined the two rooms.
But it's nice to be able to close that off, I suppose, if you were having, say, the kids in here and you were wanting to watch television in the other room.
To buy it, you would have to knock it all down to get it the way that you wanted it, and I wouldn't want to spend any more money.
There's not actually going to be that much space for food preparation, especially if you've got your kids and their friends around.
It was a bit of a wow factor when I walked through. I thought it was really nice.
All in all, I think it's a lovely, lovely place. I can see myself living here. I'll just see if I can see myself paying the mortgage on it.
So the big dream, the reason for doing this was that you wanted to make enough money to be able to go back to Australia. You now have enough money to be able to do that. What are you going to do?
We're going to stay. There's been a big change of plan.
Huge.
I've been accepted into the fire brigade just recently. So it seems perfect timing now to settle down, enjoy the house, and start that career off.
And let's be honest, it's a huge amount of money. Aren't you tempted to just take the money and run?
I am.
Yes. Yeah. Well, hopefully the money's always going to stay in the house now, and so if we decide to go in a couple of years' time, we'll still be making a good profit at that stage.
It's an amazing achievement to have done it all yourself, and you have got a lovely home, so development's not for everyone.
No, not for you.
You'll do it again.
I'll do it
She
again.
did all the work.
I'd love to have a project of my own and do a flat. That would be...
A small one-bedroom flat.
Teeny one. Matt and Jodie have potentially made enough money to change their lives. Clive and Deborah still face a bit of a struggle. That's a 50% success rate. And it's worth remembering these odds if you're planning on taking on your first development.
Next week, it's one big basement excavation, but is it worth the trouble?
Let's dig in, and I think, well, this is never going to be done. It's just mud.
You've been potty from day one on this, haven't you? And 13 months hasn't knocked any sense into you at all.